is the Big O Show. This 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 is
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in that corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you're getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hey, good afternoon or good morning, that is. You all, hope you all are doing well out there. I am not. Just so you'll know. You guys know I kind of live my life here with you guys. And so I've been dealing with my foot issue. And all I dealt was with pain all weekend. Knee pain, thigh pain, hip pain. It was all because I'm overcompensating. So it's been kind of rough. I don't think this will be a very long show, to be quite honest, because I don't have my usual energy, to be quite honest. But I'm going to do the show anyway, and we'll get through it. And David Furones will join us at 10:30. Obviously, your questions and comments and all kinds of good stuff. We'll get through that. And I'm sure we'll be able to talk about several things going on in sports. Obviously, Super Bowl last night. And Kansas City won 25-22. Thank you, Pat Mahomes and company, for making me a little money in the AFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl. If you're going to, I think at one point I took Kansas City +7 in the game. So I took it +1.5 and +2 to start off the game because I felt like Kansas City would end up, pulling it off and winning. And then as San Fran then took the lead, then it became, I think it was 4.5 or 5. I forgot which one. I'd have to look it up now. But 4.5 or 5 came up. I took it right away. And then 6.5 and 7 came up, and I took the 7 right away. So I love the live line. The live line is a beautiful thing. So if you want to keep giving Pat Mahomes points, then I'm going to keep winning some money off of you. That's just kind of the way it's going to go. So we got our game yesterday. I mean, the Shanahan thing, lead in the last Super Bowl, lead in this Super Bowl. They had the 25-point lead when he was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, and they chose not to stick to the run. Here it was a little different. Here, I almost felt like their issue was that they settled for too many field goals. And when you're playing Pat Mahomes, you can't, you just can't. I think it's 3 field goals that the guy hit for San Francisco. And he hit some long ones, which he's not necessarily the most reliable kicker out there. He did a nice job overall. But when you play people like that, you got to score touchdowns, man. You got to score touchdowns. And, it's funny because the game for the Chiefs mirrored their season. They had trouble, early on in the year. They had a lot of trouble. Guys were dropping passes, were making all kinds of mistakes. Mahomes was frustrated as hell. They weren't winning as many games as they were later on in the season. And this game was the same way. They had to have an offensive and a team and a defensive meeting because they were killing themselves. They were committing all kinds of stupid mistakes. And they were kind of, setting themselves back. And finally they got the wake-up call and they figured it out. And in the second half, they were able to play better football and, they ended up pulling it off. But it's interesting how the game mirrored the Kansas City season, which started off rough and then obviously ended on a much stronger note. And the same way this game started off rough and then obviously ended on a much stronger note. So it's just kind of interesting how the game and the season for Kansas City were one of the same. Mahomes was 34-46, 333, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Brock Purdy didn't play bad, man. He played good. It's just they only scored 1 touchdown. And he only threw 1 touchdown, and you just got to do more. He was 23 of 38 for 255 and a touchdown. Just one of those where KC ends up being the better team, in the end. And you get the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Hey, by the way, did Jackson Mahomes get arrested there, Sean? Have you seen anything? Okay. That's progress right there. Because it was reported over the weekend that Jackson Mahomes was hanging out with Kelce's ex. So not that they were an item, but they were probably hanging out. Who knows? They were probably, doing some crap. Because people will, ask D-listers to show up for certain things. I don't know why anybody would want the Mahomes brother. You know what I'm saying? But Jackson did not get arrested, so that is progress for Pat. At least he doesn't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Besides winning the Super Bowl, anyway. So, just interesting. Commercials were fun. They weren't. Most of them sucked, but there were a couple good ones. I enjoyed the Tom Brady one, Marino and Messi. Obviously, that was super cool. So there were a couple of commercials that were pretty decent. Most of them again weren't that good.
and then the names that were at the Super Bowl. Obviously, hell, when they showed that suite, you see Taylor's there and Lana Del Rey is, which I wouldn't have known it was Lana if it wasn't for my daughter and my wife. Oh, there's Lana. So Lana Del Rey and Ass Spice was there also. Ass Spice was actually hanging out with Taylor the entire time. And then there were other people there. They showed this other suite where Guy Fieri and like a whole bunch of like famous people. It was trippy. I would imagine that a Vegas Super Bowl is like no other. Probably brought out more stars to that Super Bowl than any other Super Bowl out there. But that was trippy, man. That was good. That was good. It was fun. We got an overtime and everything. Interesting. Kelsey, by the way, had 9 receptions for 93 yards. I did enjoy the halftime show. I thought they did a great job. Alicia Keys. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Wow, Alicia Keys. Man. Swiss Beats is like Applebee's. He's eating good in the neighborhood, bro. That's all I got to say. Damn, Alicia Keys. Damn, Alicia Keys. Wow. That was impressive. The only thing, I thought it was kind of low, the audio. I don't know if it was the way they sent it out or whatever, but it was a little low. That's the only thing that I thought was a little bit off. But outside of that, it was an entertaining night. It was fun. It was fun. Let me see what we got here. Steve Chapman is first. He says, up here in Boston, fans are freaking out because Mahomes is a threat to Brady's GOAT status. Yeah. I don't know why they would be worried about that right now. Get a life. That's what I would tell anybody. Get a freaking life. Just like the idiots that are freaking out with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. It's like, dude, get a life, bro. Who gives a shit who she votes for? We're all going to end up voting for somebody, or we're all going to vote for somebody we really don't want anyways, but we're just voting to vote. So who cares, dude? It's just stupidity. Crypto Fins is in. Popeye is in. Steven Gonzalez. Ray Sosa. Costa Nostra. Great effort. Yes, I agree, Joseph. Great effort yesterday from the Jimmy Butler less Heat. Fell short, though. Yeah, well, that's because you don't have a star on the team. You could tell me all you want about Bam Adebayo, but Bam Adebayo, are we done with that already? Are we done with that? Like, am I not going to get those people anymore telling me he's a franchise player and he's a superstar? Because, I've been telling people for a long time now, he's a very good player. Very good player. He's not a star. And how many times does he have to prove it over and over and over and over again? And this is why they've had a great run and they don't get over the hump, because there's not another star next to Jimmy. So if he takes a night off, there's not another star that can step up and become the guy. And, that's the sad part about it. Brooklyn Rob is in the house. Good morning, Big O and Sean. This is always depressing time of the year. Thank God I have the Panthers and Inter Miami to cure the football blues. Amen to that. Joseph is in. Let me see. Cosa Nostra. Barry Schaben is in Las Vegas. Nice. Good for you. Now I was thinking about this. I'm talking with my wife about this over the weekend. It's like, if the Dolphins would have made the Super Bowl, I wouldn't have had my operation. I would have gone with my foot in cortisone and hope that it doesn't flare up. But real big risk in Vegas, because anybody that's been to Vegas, there's one thing you do in Vegas, whether you like it or you don't. You walk. You walk, and you walk a lot in Las Vegas. Okay? That is automatic. So they say everything happens for a reason. Well, maybe It's interesting how it happened for me that I didn't end up going. And you think about it, I wasn't in shape to do that. You know what I mean? And who knows if my foot flares up while I'm in Vegas. And brother, you're not going to go anywhere then in Vegas. I would have to like rent some kind of a scooter or something, you know, be crazy to do something like that. But it's wow. So GP Trap is in the house. Popeye is in. He says Tua will be next year's Super Bowl MVP. I like that. Let's see. Raptor Jesus, Cash the Jeweler. True Fin fan says last night we saw the difference between a great QB taking over with very little weapons in the Super Bowl and a game manager that you build around. Hopefully, coach learns how to stick with the run. Yeah. But if you watch the last drive or two, it wasn't really about abandoning the run. They just didn't make the plays, man. And the penalty also, set them back and made it like second and 13 or 14 or something like that. It was so it just mistakes were also a problem for them, down the stretch. Alexis Palenzuela, One-Eyed Jack is in. Horn Dog, Kyle Cockrell, Lofi, Aaron Hernandez, D. Laz, Ray Varnicus, Taylor. The Chiefs just find a way to get it done. Not fancy, just excellent. Yep, that's right. Josh is in. JC Norval, Hunter Butler, Omar Lopez, Manuel Goico. The foot's doing all right, bro. Thank you for asking, Manuel. The foot is all right. It's just been, considering that they told me that be prepared for like, some real pain from your foot. I have not gotten any real pain from my foot. Like there's a presence, that, okay, my foot has been operated on and it's there, but there's no pain. But, and listen, this is like doing weights. I would imagine like somebody out there that might be a doctor. Listen, I don't have a tendency of arguing things I don't know. I'm pretty good about just saying, I don't know. And I don't know about medicine or, the physicality of it. But I think what's going on with me is just that I'm carrying a dead leg and swinging it around all over the place. And so my knee and my thigh and my hip have carried that whole weight. And since I'm completely out of shape, those muscles have worked like they've never worked before in years. And so all the pain that I'm getting is from that. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that in another week or two, I shouldn't have upper leg pain. Not sure now. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But that's what I'm guessing. The wife's going to call the doctor today to mention what's been going on with me. But I think that's what's going on because I'm carrying that heavy-ass brace around my leg. And so then, and you got to move your leg everywhere and lift it and everything. And so I think that's all it is. It's just normal wear and tear from my leg. But the interesting part is I got nothing. And by the way, on the painkiller front, I took a Percocet. On Saturday because my wife was like, you didn't sleep much at all on Friday night. And I didn't sleep much last night either. I might have slept maybe an hour and a half total last night. My problem is I'm a side sleeper and I cannot sleep sideways with my leg. And then because my knee is hurting, right? I'm the guy that sleeps what's that called? When you're when a baby's in the womb, like they're curled up. That's kind of the way I sleep. I sleep sideways and my legs get curled up. Woo, doggy. I can't sleep sideways because if I curl up my legs, I see stars with my right knee. So if I lock my knee and I close it up, when I open it, I am just like, it's just like, oh shit. It hurts, bro. It's just like one of those stinging ass pains. It's like it's a stinger, bro. It's a stinger in my hip. It's just a stinger in my thigh, a stinger in my knee. So we're going to ask the doctor today. Again, I'm not an expert. I'll tell you. Unlike, some of you out there that want to argue with me about Bitcoin and you don't know jack shit about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And it's like, you've never taken a minute to study it. So why would you know anything? Oh, no, but it's a scam. Okay, so how do you know it's a scam? Well, I heard somebody else say it. Okay, great. So I have no problem. Sometimes I frustrate my wife with that. What do you think about it? Well, I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. Oh, damn it. You always say that. And I go, what do you want me to do? Talk to me about sports and music and crypto. Okay? I can excel in a couple subjects for you. There's a shitload of other subjects I ain't going to excel in. Sorry. Forgive me. How is the market doing, by the way? Oh, baby. Bitcoin's at 49,000. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All-time high now. I mean, the newest all-time high. We'll pass the regular all-time high of 67, 68, whatever it is. That's coming up shortly. That's nothing. That's kids play. I'm looking forward to 100,000. That's when it starts getting interesting. And everybody starts going, well, I should have invested in that Bitcoin thing that people were talking about. So we'll hit 50 today. That's good. That's good, bro. Hitting 49,000. Love it. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can also make a Bitcoin donation. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Let's see what else. King Chile. Because that's the formula. Big tight end, good defense, good run game, short game is important. Of course, dude. And they will get the tight end this year. They've tried the first 2 years. They'll get a playmaking tight end, I believe. Lenny Pena is in. Ryan AP feels like can breathe again. Note that NFL season is over. Shang Tusheng. Oh, Andy Reid's a genius, bro. That play call to win the game, brilliant. It was McDaniel's play with a tweak he made. The wide receiver go in motion, then reverse. Brilliant. Yep. And it was Mecole Hardman. And the other thing about that story is Mecole started his season with the Jets because he went in free agency and he went to go get that money, right? Like Tyreek came to get the money, and he's got to be going, damn, money or 2 championships. Because I still would have gotten good money from Kansas City, not great money like I got from Miami, but I'd have 2 Super Bowl titles. I'd have 3 overall. You got to have some regrets there. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be some regrets there. But Mecole was with the Jets. And so it shows you that sometimes chasing the money isn't everything it's all cracked out to be. Now, Mecole Hardman has been a complimentary receiver his whole career. So going to the Jets and getting some extra money, it's money he probably wouldn't have gotten from Kansas City. But it all worked out for him because it didn't work out for him in New York. He gets out of there and he ends up getting picked up again by Kansas City, who was having all kinds of receiver issues. And he has the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. So it's pretty cool that he was in a terrible situation with the Jets. And it shows you also that free agency, while it's great for your wallet and your bank account, it may not make you happy professionally. You know what I'm saying? I doubt it'll ever happen, okay? Because I have no interest in it. But let's just say, for shits and giggles, a radio station said, hey, man, we want to bring you back to radio and we're going to pay you well. And I would say, well, it's not going to make me satisfied. So if I go and I take the job, I'm taking the money, but then I have to take all the bullshit that goes with it. And that's not fun. It's not something you really want. So it's something you got to think about. When you're in a great situation, is it worth taking all that money and you don't know what situation you'll be? You're getting your stats here, but you didn't get 2 Super Bowl championships. So there's got to be serious regret with Tyreek Hill. There has to be. He won't admit it. I saw him over the weekend. Oh, we're doing fine, and our time will come, and on the no excuses stuff and all that. I saw it all this weekend. Big deal. That's all talk, and none of that shit means a damn thing to me. But come on. It's only human nature that you're not second guessing yourself when the team you left wins 2 titles. It's odd. Oh, what's your take on the Kelsey push and shouting at Reed? Intensity, brother. It gets the best of you, best of me. Sometimes, so you can't do anything about that. Was it the right thing to do? No, of course not. But water under a bridge. They've been through hell and back. He's come through for him. The coach has come through for the player. I'm not going to look. He's intense and wants to win and wanted the ball. That's all. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to lose my shit because of that. And this, the other thing, when I saw that push, that it was like he wanted, like, yo, man, don't forget me. I want, it's almost like I kept thinking to myself what I've been saying for a while. He's retiring. And he needs to end on a high note. Because if they lose, it's not the way he wants to retire. So, and I don't know, maybe he doesn't retire and he continues. We'll see. But that intensity of that moment, that's what came to my mind. Oh, shit. Maybe he is going to retire and he really wants to end this on a high note with a championship. I don't know. Chad is in. Ray Sosa says there was a commercial with some of the characters from Suits. Yes. Yeah. The one in the garage. Yeah. That one actually was all right. That one wasn't bad. I like that one. That one was pretty good. By the way, my man Jack Dorsey was in the house. If you looked at Beyonce and Jay-Z, there was a guy sitting right next to him. He's got a goatee and he had a Satoshi shirt on. Satoshi is the man that created Bitcoin. And Jack Dorsey is the guy that created Square. Okay. Blue Sky, which is that new social media, that's also his. And Circle or something else, he's got some other big company. And he's also a huge Bitcoin guy. Okay. So it was pretty cool to see the Satoshi shirt there. And he's hanging out with Jay-Z and Beyonce. God, Beyonce. That's beyond beautiful. Like, I don't know what's beyond beautiful, what word we use, but that's Beyonce. Like, she is just, if not the most gorgeous woman in the world, she's right up there, number 2 or number 3 or whatever, because, man, that woman is good looking. Holy shit, that woman is good looking. Wow. Whew. Amazing. Gus is in. Les Jam is in. Walter Olivares. Gordon Shumway. Giovanni Akaris. The audio was super low okay, so it was for you also, right? That's the only complaint that I would have for it. The whole performance. Usher was amazing. My God, Alicia Keys was a goddess. Dude, Beyonce made a space suit look hot. You know you're hot when you can make a space suit that is covering every inch of your body hot. That's just not normal. A woman is not supposed to make something look hot when she's covered up all the way to the gills. And Beyonce is the only one in the world that can make a spacesuit freaking hot. Now, I know it wasn't your normal spacesuit, but she's not your normal woman. You know what I'm saying? Big O, kudos to Patrick Mahomes. He has level over every QB in the NFL right now. Amazing game. He's up there with the greats. Oh, yeah. Paul in Connecticut is also loving Alicia Keys. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. That's all I can say. The Casanova pugilist says until we get rid of Tua, we ain't winning anything. Well, there you go. So I guess there's no reason for you to watch because they're not getting rid of Tua. So no reason to watch, my brother. No reason to watch this show. No reason to watch the Dolphins. There's nothing to talk about. It's over for you. Move on, young man. Move on. Just sucks to see the Heat getting swept in a season series by the Celtics. They're not better than the Celtics with or without Butler, so it doesn't really matter. Nico Jones, I was rooting for the 49ers due to Brock Purdy, Marino connection, plus Brock's dad was a pitcher at UM. Lisa Rose is in. Jermaine says Alicia Keys' performance was very impressive. Well, I mean, it's Alicia Keys, dude. When it comes to Alicia Keys, there is nothing but impressive with Alicia Keys. Her talent is, forget her beauty, and she looked smoking hot. Okay, she did, but her talent is elite. Her talent is, something that never surprises me because all of her performances are exceptional because she's exceptional. She's just at another level. Christian is in. Lisa Rose, listening in here is COVID quarantine. Are you're quarantining yourself right now? Is that what you're saying? Casanova, Purdy is a system QB. Everybody is a system player, my brother. Just so you know, we've had this conversation before, but just so I can remind you, that's a stupid ass statement. Okay? Stop making those statements. It makes you look stupid. Okay? Everybody is a system quarterback. Do you think Lamar Jackson can play in a pass-happy offense where he's a pure drop-back passer? No. His system is running. He's a system quarterback. Josh Allen, do you think you can keep him in the pocket permanently and not have him run? No, because that's not his system. His system is he has to run in order to be effective as a quarterback. So are we going to have Brock Purdy run Lamar Jackson's offense? No, because Brock Purdy is a precision passer. So his style, right? Lamar can't play his style. He can't play Lamar's style. Some corners, they can only play in zone. Some corners can only play man. Some corners have the talent to play both. Some corners can only play outside. Some corners can only play inside. It's part of a system. You run a zone scheme, you're drafting this guy. You run a man scheme, you're drafting the other guy. Okay? So if you're going to have a pass-catching back, Jedrick McKinnon, right? The kid yesterday, former Viking and all that. He was a former Niner, and he was with the Chiefs yesterday, right? Jedrick McKinnon, right? So would you grab him and then use him as a power running back? Or is that not his system? Or is he more of a pass-catching back? He's not really a running back. He's really more of a receiver out of the backfield. Everybody pretty much is a system. Once in a while, you have certain guys that can alternate and play two different systems. Pat Mahomes is the only guy in the NFL that can truly run. If you wanted to run, maybe not like Lamar because Lamar is a freak. Anybody run like Lamar. But everybody's a system. Now, Mahomes is one of the few guys that can play purely drop back or drop back / run. like you do with Lamar and Josh Allen. So when those of you out there keep saying, because I understand it's a lazy term that someone said, and you're just repeating it, but you never really looked at it. Everyone is a system player. Everyone, pretty much. Now, you can get a George Kittle, and you can make him a blocking tight end, and you can make him a pass-catching tight end. Now, not all tight ends are like that. Okay? But more often than not, they're either pass-catching or they're blocking. So they only fit one part of your system. So when you start saying Brock Purdy is a system quarterback, it's fucking stupid, because everybody is in a system. You as a coach have to figure out what system that player belongs in. And that's what great front offices and coaches do. They don't put Jamar Fletcher in a man-on-man scheme. That's why you got to know what you're drafting and what your system is. So you're running a man-on-man scheme, and I'm drafting a zone corner? And so Jamar Fletcher failed here miserably. But he ended up having a half-decent career. Why? Because they put him in the right system. And he was at least, I believe he was a serviceable backup zone corner, is what he ended up becoming towards, most of his career for a few years. So when you say this player or that player is a system, whatever, you're sounding fucking stupid. Let's just be clear on that. Everyone is a system, and you got to figure out what they are. Okay? Some D linemen fit in a 3-4, some don't fit, and they got to go to 4-3, right? Oh, this guy's too smallish. He can't hold the point. So he's a 3-4 guy, linebacker, not an end. Okay, on a 4-3, he can play a little end. System. So that everyone is a system. So stop saying that, because I just want you all to know you sound stupid when you say that. The job of the front office and the coach is to figure out what system that player fits perfectly in, so that player can excel. That's really what it's all about, actually. All right, let's do it. David Furones and our Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins and NFL report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Doing well. Coming off Super Bowl Sunday. It was a very entertaining game. Got a full overtime after the regulation, so a lot of extra football. That was fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was kind of a slow game.
Yeah,
kind of started kind of slow, and then obviously as time ran out, the drama built because it was such a tight game at that point, and then that's when everything took another turn. So it was cool to see, but it just shows you also that Mahomes is as special as it gets, dude. And that doesn't matter. Tyreek is sitting here watching them win 2 Super Bowls without him. You know what I mean? And that's got to be a little bit of a bitch for him. I know he played it off on social media over the weekend, but that's the most important player in. And I'm not breaking any news here, enlightening anybody. Everybody knows that the dude that touches the ball on every single down is the most important. And when you've got that guy, you have a chance every single time, dude. He's just amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible when a talent like Tyreek Hill, who by and large can be considered the greatest at his position, and last couple of years, I mean, especially this past year, 1799 was the league's leading receiver. He goes to another team, record-breaking contract, and then that former team is still able to replenish what it needs, even if it struggles at that position with the wide receiver struggles that they had throughout the year. They put it together as the season goes. And when you have a guy like number 15, Patrick Mahomes back there, he's able to make up for whatever deficiencies you have on this team and just somehow put it together. And they end up winning the Super Bowl after all the struggles throughout the year. When and underdogs is on three different occasions throughout the postseason run, and to win it, this one's the most remarkable for him.
Yeah, no doubt. If you think about it, I talked about this earlier. The game mirrored the Kansas City season. The Kansas City season started with all kinds of turmoil. Their offense was shot to shit. Receivers were dropping balls left and right. Mahomes was frustrated. They were making mistakes. They were shooting themselves in the foot. And then they got the wake-up call against the Raiders, and then it kind of turned around for them, and they started winning games and started getting it done. And the game yesterday was the same thing. It started with all kinds of turmoil. They were making all kinds of mistakes. They had to have an offensive and a defensive team meetings, to kind of straighten all this shit out. You got Kelsey freaking out on Andy Reid on the sidelines, all that kind of stuff. So, it's interesting how the game mirrored the Kansas City season, that it all started in turmoil and then it kind of ended up well.
And they always are coming from behind. Both times against the 49ers have had a 10-point deficit. This one a lot earlier in the game. It was only in the first half, 10-0. So still a lot of football left to be played. But last time when it was in Miami, when it was this background that I have, it's from that game. When last time the Super Bowl was in Miami, the one that I have covered, they were down by 10 in, I think it was in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter already, when the Patrick Mahomes had that deep third down play to Tyreek Hill that got them rolling, and Jimmy G missed a receiver open deep when he had a chance to put it away. And then I even think about like when they had that game against the Texans in the AFC divisional round where they were down big early at Arrowhead and they had to come back. The Deshaun Watson Texans in 2019 on that Super Bowl run. So I mean, these are come from behind type of cats, and they've done it multiple times, and now a couple times in the Super Bowl.
By the way, I'm looking at the chat board while you're talking, and I got to give Sal, I think it is, a little love, because I'll rip you when you're saying something stupid, but I'm going to give you plenty of love when you deserve it. Sal put it, and he put it beautifully. Every QB is a system QB, but the great ones thrive when the system breaks down. Way to go, Sal. Way to go.
That's a beautiful quote. That's
exactly. Because somebody was telling me that, Purdy's a system QB. Everybody's a system QB, dude. It's just every player is a system QB, a system player. They can't play in every system. Now, do we have freaks that can do anything? George Kittle can play in any system? Yeah. No. Mahomes can play in any system. You want to make him a running / passing QB? He can do that. You want to make him a pure pocket passer? He can do that. But that's the fun part. And that's why when I read that from Sal, I wanted to bring it up because I know I'm going to forget it and a whole bunch of them will come in when we're done. But it's just funny how people use that lazy line of system when, brother, everybody, that's kind of what the coach in the front office have to do. They have to look at you as a player, and before they draft you, they have to say, oh, okay, yeah, you fit our scheme. You fit our system. Oh, you don't. And I gave the Jamar Fletcher example as a perfect one. You drafted a zone corner for a man-on-man scheme. Oh, I wonder why he failed. I wonder. You know what I mean? Was it Jamar Fletcher's fault? Actually, it wasn't, because he became a serviceable backup zone corner. Okay? He wasn't really a starter, but he would play backup for a couple teams for a few years. And so at least he found a home where he belonged. And that's what I think people need to understand, that in football, everybody pretty much is part of one kind of system or another.
Yeah, and Jamar Fletcher drafted into the Dolphins system instead of Drew Brees, of course. So, everyone plays it in a certain system. And I think, it's sort of how people want to describe it when they say, okay, I don't think the player is as good as what we're seeing, but that the system brings the best out of him. But to your point, that's the whole dynamic of a coach and a GM and everyone just trying to work together in unison to put the players that they bring in, their personnel, into the right system at the end of the day. So then that means, okay, everyone's doing their job right because you're drafting the right guys for what you're implementing on the field. So I mean, I get what people are saying when they say, but it's not like it's a knock on anyone. It shouldn't be just because.
That's where you nailed it, dude. Yeah. That's where you're nailing it. They're using it as an insult, and actually, it's not an insult. You're actually misusing the word, and that's the problem. That the person using it is not using it in the proper definition of it, and that instead they're using it as some kind of an insult. When you couldn't have Montana play Marino's offense. That's not who Montana was. Montana needed the West Coast, spreading it out, a lot of running game, all those kind of things. If he had to, drop back 45 times with no running game, I don't know if Joe's the same quarterback, because that's not the system that you want to put him in. You know what I'm saying? Just like you don't want to put Tua Tagovailoa in Lamar Jackson's system, because there's no way he can do anything like Lamar Jackson. Because nobody can do what Lamar Jackson does with the football running around. You know what I mean? So everybody's got a system that they fit in. And then, there are a couple of those freaks that can play in any system. But really, those are very few players that actually can do it.
Yeah. I was actually going to get to that. I was before you got to it. I was thinking we were on the same wavelength there. Tua Tagovailoa in his system. Brock Purdy in a similar that Kyle Shanahan offense, same that Mike McDaniel came from. So similar ways, and then a lot of people use it.
Lamar Jackson,
and I'm getting to
it. He could never do what Purdy does, ever.
Yeah. So a lot of people want to say, okay, well, Tua or Brock Purdy or insert whoever you want to say, any one that you want to call a game manager, a system quarterback, et cetera, then, they can't. If you put them in Josh Allen's Buffalo Bills offense, they're not going to do the same thing. If you put them in Lamar Jackson's Baltimore Ravens offense, they're not going to do the same thing. But Justin Herbert, whoever you want to say, you're not asking them to do those same things. And those are different quarterbacks with different skill sets. That's why those offenses cater to what their skills are, where, even Josh Allen, I mean, he's otherworldly with his arm strength, and then his running ability and the things he does. Well, then if you ask him to do some of the same things Tua does, he probably turns the ball over at a high rate, like we already do.
I'm glad you brought up Josh Allen. I am glad you brought up Josh Allen, because Ken Dorsey changed the system on Josh Allen. And how did that work out, my friend? It didn't.
Right.
He played like shit. Why? Because you were trying to make him more of a pocket passer. And guess what Josh Allen isn't? He's not he can pass from the pocket, but you've got to use his legs. And that's what Dable was doing. And that's what Joe Brady went back to.
Yeah.
And so, again, systems. It's not a knock for those of you out there. It's actually a definition for each player. What system do they belong in? Where do they excel? Because they're not going to excel in some other places. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. If you're going to use Mostert as a hammer, brother, he's not going to last a month. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to use him on an outside zone, and you're only going to give him 15, 17 carries, now all of a sudden he fits that. He fits what you want to do with him. But he's not a pounded every down back. That's not really what you want to do where he Mostert.
And at the end of the day, you're going to be judged by your career in the systems that you played in.
Exactly.
It's not like, no one got into the Hall of Fame by, he did this, but he could have also even done more if he was in another system. You're judged by what you do in the offense that you're in, or if you're a defensive player in the defense you're in, and just the fit that you are for that team. So ultimately, that's how you're going to be judged and how your career is going to go.
All right, Doggy, talk to me. Brian Duker in. Let's see. We got Madison out. We got Mike Judge, Colby Smith, Ricardo Allen, Joe Casper, Kenny Baker, Brendan Farrell, Campanelli, Ronaldo Hill. So it looks like some changes on offense because obviously they brought in the guy from Hawaii to be he's also kind of an O-line coach, which I thought that was very interesting, Sapolo. But what'd you think of some of the changes that the new defensive coordinator is making?
Yeah, interesting. So now, Ronaldo Hill. I don't know if you named him. So Ronaldo Hill out along with. So that's Duker's position now, is that secondary coach and pass game coordinator. So now this is a promotion for him. He was just DB's coach for the Detroit Lions, and Weaver goes back with him to actually 2015 with the Cleveland Browns. So sort of Weaver's 2-year stint. Cleveland Browns defensive line coach. 2014, Mike McDaniel was on that staff. That ends up being that connection. And then the next year, McDaniel's not there anymore. He's with Atlanta. But then Duker is a defensive intern on that staff with Weaver. So interesting how that comes almost a full decade later. So that's the connection there. So a big jump for him. And then, beloved Sam Madison no longer around. So he already had sort of it was a slight demotion last year when Ronaldo Hill came in and he was that secondary coach, pass game coordinator. So Madison was just a cornerbacks coach at that point. And then he had the pass game specialist title along with it. But and then now Madison out. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know much about Duker. We are gonna hear from Weaver this week, so we'll finally get introduced to him, and that'll be a good time to ask him. Really nail down the scheme that he wants to, which we've talked about here. It's also going to come down to the players and how the personnel ends up shaping out throughout.
He will tell you that day when you guys ask him. The prediction is, hey, we're gonna adjust and we're going to do things depending on what personnel we have and who we're facing. And he's going to give you that general bullshit question because there's no way he's going to tell you and define who he's going to. I just don't see that.
Yeah. But you can get some general ideology out of a guy, especially when his one stint as a defensive coordinator, it was a very aggressive defense. And then now he's been on more of the opposite in recent years in Baltimore. So under Mike McDonald, at least. So, we know Wink Martindale, he was more blitz heavy like him. Where does his ideology in general, whether it's blitz rate, the man versus zone, the single high safety, the two high safety looks, all those things. And I don't know how specific he'll get, but we might get some general philosophical ideas out of him. Last year we did. I mean, we know Vic Fangio who he is, but you had some quotes out of him, like as far as the blitz rate. We knew it was going to be different from Josh Boyer the year before, and he said, I prefer to dictate when we blitz as opposed to doing it out of necessity. So there's some things you get out of that first introductory press conference with the coordinator.
Well, with Fangio is different because you have a track record of decades of doing it. This guy's new at this.
Yeah.
And he's inheriting a new team. And so that's one thing that I'd like to see how he handles it, because usually when you inherit, you're not going to get everybody you really need first, in your first shot. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays, certain guys.
Yeah.
It is, it's kind of sad to see Sam Madison go.
Yeah.
I got to tell you.
But it seems clear he's not shy about implementing what he wants, the guys that he wants to bring in. Because even like guys who were beloved from whether it's Sam Madison, the previous staff, and Anthony Campanelli, now who was up for the defensive coordinator job as an internal candidate 2 years running, then now he's gone. So clearly, and maybe that's on him as well, on Campanelli, just seeing 2 straight years, I'm not able to move up within this franchise. Let me go somewhere else. That could have been part of it as well. So now. Probably is very understanding when it's Vic Fangio, a guy who has entered Miami with 19 years as defensive coordinator and 3 years as a head coach, on, and that resume. But then maybe that next time when the position comes up, and then it's another young up-and-coming coach that's around his same age, then I could see how at that point as an assistant coach, you're like, man, I gotta find my happiness elsewhere.
Yep. So. David Furones, who covers the Miami Dolphins on a daily basis. The first move in free agency will be what?
First move in free agency. Let's see. Well, if it's not going to be Christian Wilkins, because we've already on this program have moved past that. You've made it clear he's not coming back, right? Then I would prioritize Robert Hunt. I think he's going to be one of the top guards in this league. So I would like to have him back, especially. But I mean, that would make you a great right side of the line for years to come, since you already have Austin Jackson there solidified for the next 3 years. If you get Rob Hunt in the fold. He's got fewer questions right now. He did have the hamstring injury late last season, but coming back from that, right, it's not an ACL injury like Connor Williams has. And then, Teron Armstead on the left side is getting up there in age, and he's even contemplating retirement. I think he'll be back. But I feel like that would be the top priority is keep something that you already have strong, and then you'll free up some money if Christian Wilkins indeed is gone, and with the restructures and other things you can do. So that might end up being the biggest maybe free agency move, but maybe there's a big trade or something that can be pulled off. You know how these things develop. It's just no one was predicting Jalen Ramsey at the same time last year. No one was predicting Tyreek Hill at the same time 2 years ago. So things just pop up. So it'll be really exciting.
Yeah, Greer, McKenzie, and Allen are always they're always working it. So you never know what those guys are up to and who they're talking to right now.
Yeah.
About maybe a free agent that could become available. But I love your thinking on the Rob Hunt thing. I think Rob is one of those guys that definitely gets re-signed, and you definitely need him. And he's a guy you can build on for years to come. He's been a really, really good find, man. I've been really impressed with him overall with Rob Hunt.
And it almost becomes kind of a decision between Rob Hunt and Christian Wilkins, because if you're not using those funds on Wilkins, then, I mean, make sure you bring Rob Hunt back. You don't want a lot of your better players from the previous years leaving your program, especially when you're in this win now window, especially if you're not replenishing that talent with other top tier talent, because they're going to be strapped for cash as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you're not going to let both of those guys go. And then if we're deciding, Christian Wilkins might have priced himself out, then Rob Hunt becomes, who already was a priority, but becomes like really priority 1A.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friends?
Yeah, just tracking any news and Anthony Weaver press conference this week. So we'll be introduced to him, and so I'll be covering all of that this week.
All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. And, of course, call my friends at Welt and Rayom, Jeff Welt. He is a stud. He's happy right now. Jeff Welt is happy because he's got a lot of Bitcoin, and he sees it going up to 49,000. He's happy. But, listen, if you got some issues, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, and Jeff is awesome. He loves his music, so you can talk music with him and crypto if you want. Welt and Rayom, baby, 954-966-4646. David, appreciate you, my man. We'll catch up later on the week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, you got it. Welt and Rayom, Miami Dolphins report.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Great, you have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-NE.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding. Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
It's hour number 2 of the program. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, tuning in. And we thank David Furones for joining us. Don't know how long I'll go here in this second hour, to be quite honest. I have not had a lot of rest and don't feel well, to be brutally honest. As I told you earlier in the hour, I did not sleep much over the weekend. Dealt with a lot of pain in my leg, man. A lot of pain. And I did take a Percocet to try it on a Saturday, but it made me, dude, it got me stoned. Like, I don't mind being a little high. Smoke a cigar, you'll get a little high. You have a drink or two, you get a little buzz, a little high, you're good. Toke a little weed, get a little high. But that thing knocked my ass out. Like I was blah, 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 blah. And I told my wife, no, I'm not doing that ever again. No. I'll deal with the pain. And by the way, in the end, it kind of made me forget about the pain for a little bit, but then it comes back right after. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just into suffering. So I'm just suffering and using a lot of ice. This seems to help out. But I didn't rest very well over the weekend. So I'm hoping that my leg pain subsides as the week goes on, as my body gets used to dragging around the damn big ass brace. So I don't know how long I'll go. Okay. Because I don't know how much energy I have. Jimmy Zorria says, sometimes I also wonder if getting Tyreek is actually setting us back. He's electrifying, but we gave up too many picks for him, and he might be a bad influence on Tua, focusing too much on him. Well, actually, see, Jamie, let's not lose sight. I mean, that's if you feel this way. I know how I feel. Has nothing to do with Tyreek. Has to do everything with Mike McDaniel and how he balances everything out. And having Tyreek is fantastic, and it doesn't hurt Miami. Okay. Now, does Tyreek have to concentrate on his own and make sure he does a better job of catching the footballs? Yeah. Yeah, he's got to do a better job of not dropping so many important balls, to be quite honest. But the real problem is Mike McDaniel learning how to really manage a team and an offense and a game. And he's not very good at that. And so in the end, I'm not blaming Tyreek. It's the head coach that determines what's going on. So if the head coach is allowing that to fester, that's his problem. And so if Tua is too, Tyreek is in his head too much. And so Tua throws it too much to Tyreek at times. And this offense became too dependent on the two receivers. Yeah, that's a problem, man. So you got to do a better job of who won the game last night. Mecole Hardman. Not Rashee Rice, who's their best receiver. Not Travis Kelce, who's their best offensive player outside of Mahomes. No, Mecole Hardman. You got to spread the ball around. Baltimore, when they won it years ago, 20-some years ago, Brandon Stokely was like an MVP of that game. If you look back at Super Bowls and history of Super Bowls, some of the names you would never expect are the ones that are heroes. And that's the problem with Mike McDaniel and the way he runs the team. So he became too Tyreek dependent, and he cannot do that. And he forced his quarterback to be too Tyreek dependent. So I'm not blame. I'll blame Tyreek for the Tyreek things that he does when he drops really important footballs. I'll blame him for that. But having him, Jamie, it's a blessing to have him. It's Mike McDaniel that needs to grow up and figure out how to use him the right way. Brett Dodger is in. Man, that blocked extra point sure came back to haunt him. Yes, it did. Yep. But either way, they scored the touchdown. So, you're talking about, overtime might have a change, right? That 1 point. If Hill was not here, Tua would be leaning on Waddle like he did Waddle's rookie year. No, but he spread the ball around. No, actually, let me see, because Waddle caught 100 that year, right? But if I remember correctly, the ball was spread around. Let's go stats. So now we're going to go 2022 regular season, right? Oh no, we're going to go 2021. My bad. Here we go. So Waddle had 104. Mike Gesicki had 73 catches. And then Devontae Parker had 40. Smythe 34. Myles Gaskin had 49. Let's see what we got here. Hill and Waddle, 119 and 72. Smythe is third with 35. 35, then 22 for Cedric Wilson, 27 for Braxton, 27 for Achan, 25 for Mostert, 4 for Robbie Chosen. Boy, the media was really on to some with Robbie Chosen. So as you see, you're wrong on that one. They actually spread the ball around more. Here they didn't. Here they became too dependent on two guys. They actually threw to the tight end 3 years ago. He could catch 73 with him, but Mike McDaniel and his system, he didn't allow him to catch 73. Got to spread the ball around, man. Just kind of the way it is. That's why when Washington won the Super Bowl one year, it was Timmy Smith rushing for 200 yards. I could just go back and, in the history of time and just talk about Super Bowls and big playoff games. And You'll see complementary players that played big roles and they had big moments in those games. Got to spread it around. So it's not about Tyreek, Jamie. It's about Mike McDaniel. Let's see. Luis Benito, Dr. Quit. People in the IRL world need a good system to thrive too. Everybody needs to be in a good system to thrive. Destiny sometimes takes weird routes. That it does. Lamar Jackson is the most overrated player in the NFL. I don't know. That's a little rough. I'm just going to go with he's not really a passer. That's all I'm going to go with. I'm just going to go with the same thing I've gone with for many, 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 many years now. Bill Polian was wrong. Lamar Jackson's not a receiver. He's a running back playing quarterback. That's what it is. He's a running back that can occasionally pass the ball. That's all. Brett Dodger, let's see. What else? Cap for life. Hayden is in. Mr. Majestic, Reed knows players. Hill had to go. Well, it's the money. Sometimes they ask for too much money, and you're trying to keep something going, and it's going to limit you in other areas if you keep them, and that's what they decided. We have a great quarterback. We can get lesser receivers and still survive. They're right. They're right. With lesser receivers, they survive. They don't need Tyreek Hill to win it all because you have Pat Mahomes. You know, kind of sad Sam leaving. Cam needed to get on the field and do a good job for him to stay there, and Cater having a down year. That may not be the case. That's an obvious take, right? But I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think this guy wants his own people, and he doesn't know Sam Madison from a hole in the wall, and Weaver doesn't care. And he's going to bring in people that he knows and that they know what he wants to coach and that he's comfortable with. And he doesn't know Sam Madison. He doesn't know Ronaldo Hill. I don't think it has anything to do with the struggles of Cater Kohu at all. Zero. Okay? Zero. What else? True Fin fan, thank you for the love on the super chat. You're a Dolphin fan. You know no bigger pain. Yes. 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 You should try CBD oils. My dad swears by them. Weed's too much of a head high, but strong CBD oils that have droppers. I mean, even weed doesn't treat me like that Percocet did on Saturday. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was stoned out of my mind on Saturday. Stoned out of my mind. I had a terrible this last night was bad, but it wasn't as bad as Saturday and wasn't nearly as bad as Friday. Friday was terrible. I had a horrible night. You know how bad it was? Okay. You know, I tell you my life. I went downstairs to try to sleep on a couch because I couldn't get comfortable in the bed. Because as I told you before, I'm a side sleeper. With the brace, I can't side sleep. So I'm not the guy that can lie on my back and sleep. I'm sure lots of you do it. And by the way, it's the healthiest way to sleep is like this, straight up. But I can't do it. I can't do it. It's just a mission for me, dude. Mission. So I'm hoping that now, as the days go on, the pain, like I've had no hip and no thigh pain since Friday. Right? No, since Saturday. No, since Friday. Saturday and Sunday, all I got was knee. The first couple of days, I had hip, thigh, knee. It was brutal. Brutal. CBD is very good at fighting inflammation and moderate pain. Well, maybe I should check it out. It's like you say, Big O. Andy Reid does what Bill did. His game plans are always different depending on the players they deploy, and we're matchup centric. McDaniel needs to pick this trait. Yes. Yes, sir. Big O, for the upcoming draft next year, who do you think the Dolphins should get in what position? Ricky, we need to go through free agency first. We have to see what they fill in free agency, and then that will give us a better indication on where they're going in the draft. Right now, it's a waste of time. NorCal says, looking forward to seeing you and Sean out at Hialeah on the 23rd. Yes, sir. Big O, FYI, some people are known to have hypersensitivity to oxycodone, acetophenamine, or any other component of Percocets. Okay. Well, I got stoned out of my mind. Holy shit. I hadn't been that high. God, decades. Has to have been like when I was like really drunk or something. Like it stoned me, bro. I was babbling. Yeah. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling at all. I told my wife, enough. And I only took it because she battered me on it. Oh, you're in pain. You got to try it at least. Try it at least. Try it at least. And I tried it, and I was blah, 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 blah. And no, I was like, no. I'm not doing this shit. There's no fucking way. No. I'm not doing this. No. Let's see. We need to put Hall of Famers at every offensive line position around Tua. Should be locked in and win a playoff game. Just be patient, folks. I'm staring at my phone. For Bitcoin to hit 50. That's too funny. It's just flying right now, dude. I mean, it was going to happen, 49,809 right now. It is $91.809. So it's $191 away from 50,000. It's going to hit. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And you can always make a Bitcoin donation too. Ho Yoon, thank you, my friend. On Venmo, Cash Big O Show, as always. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. Have a great week, he says. Thank you, Ho Yoon. You're a stud. Appreciate you, man. Very nice. Oh, wow. So Lisa did come down with some COVID yesterday. Damn, that sucks. COVID is no fun, man. No fun for people. It's sad when we're starving for a playoff win. No Super Bowl hopes. Well, I mean, listen, guys, if you want to torture yourselves and think that there's no shot for them to build a Super Bowl winner, you can go ahead and do that. I disagree with you. I think they can. Now, is it going to be easy for the front office? No, but that's what they're paid to do. So let me wait and see what happens this offseason. Bunch of great things may happen, and Miami may be in a absolutely awesome position. If you want to take a whole negative approach, then go ahead. I'm more concerned about the coach than I am really about all the other things. I think all the other things are going to end up working out. I think the front office will come up with a way of producing a good roster again, like they have for Flo, like they have for this guy. After the first couple of years where they were cleaning out house, after that, they've done a pretty good job overall. So I expect them to do it again. I know some of you don't, but I do. But it's really more about McDaniel growing up than anything else. I don't really worry that much about personnel. I just think it's a tool some have used in the media to create some kind of drama in a situation that doesn't really need it. Niners would have won with Tua. Maybe. You never know. Big O FYIs. Oh, you told me that. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I was floored when the Niners took the field and the broadcast shows the starting lineup. 90% of that lineup were all pros. You got to hit on your draft picks, man. You got to hit on draft picks. So, Big O, it's definitely testing 50K today. Hopefully we'll get through that psychological resistance. Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm not worried at all about Bitcoin at all. There's only one way. The ETFs are buying over 12 times the amount of Bitcoin that's produced daily. This cannot continue at this pace. It's going to go skyrocket because this is not like everything else that you can, split the stocks and print more and all. No, there's only a certain set that's available. And when it's done, it's done. And that's why it's automatically just exploding. I don't believe you'll see these numbers ever again on these dips. A year from now, you'll never get another $30,000, $40,000 dip ever again. You'll never see 30, 40,000 ever again. I really believe that. This is the last of it. Bitcoin will become for the elite. Now it's been there available for the average person to take advantage of for several years. So it's up to you if you took advantage of it or not. And if you didn't, you will regret. I'm not a financial advisor, but you'll see what's going to end up happening. There's only one way it could go. Let's see. Big O, you may find your foot pain subsides in direct relation to Bitcoin going up. Either way, best wishes. Chris Johnson says, if Mike McDaniel becomes a dick, that's not really in him. Then it'll be he didn't get along with the players and he had to go. No one in the locker room like that hard ass stuff doesn't work. Well, he's got a lot of psychological games that he needs to get going to turn this thing around. Usher was sweating more at halftime than the actual players. He was. But I got to tell you, Alicia Keys, whew. So Tua has had trouble in big games now, and he would have gotten them, the 49ers, a Super Bowl win. Yeah. He would have beat San Francisco if Tyreek holds on to the football. But that's all right. People just remember what they want to remember. That's all good. No, I wouldn't say McDaniel is too emotional of a play caller, Dub. I would just say McDaniel is not a good enough head coach right now. Let's just call it like we see it. Mike McDaniel is not good enough. He has a lot of holes in his game. He doesn't know how to run a football team. He doesn't know how to really manage a game. And he does not know how to string one play after another, one series after another. He has a terrible feel for the game. So the real issue has nothing to do with emotional. Mike McDaniel is just not good enough. He's smart enough. He's creative enough. He's just not good enough. That's all. Major lender hikes rates. What else do we have? Big O House Polygon. I love Polygon. It's up to you, my man. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm a huge Polygon guy. I got a big old bag of Polygon. And Polygon's up just 1.5%. All coins aren't doing great, it looks like. Up 2%, Atlas, almost 3%. Illuvium's up 3%, back up to $97. It was like at 78. It'll go right back over 100 now. It's pretty close to it at 97. Immutable X has been unstoppable. It's up 11%. It's had great days. It's over $3. We gave you Immutable X as low as 44 cents. Immutable X is $3.06. And we gave it to you as low as 44 cents. 306. You're welcome if you took advantage of Immutable X. Bitcoin's up 3%. It's at 49,594. So it's a little over 400 away from 50,000. Solana, way over 100 now. And it's down 1/3%, but it's at $108. Pretty damn impressive. Wow. Let me see any other ones. Alethea is up nearly 6%. I like that. All right. So there you go. That's what's going on in the crypto world. D Wolverine, thank you for the love in the super chat, sir. It feels like both San Francisco and Miami head coaches panic and goes away from the run when it's working. If they kept running last night, it might be different. The penalty set them back and didn't allow them on that short yardage to do that in that one drive towards the end. I don't know if really abandoning the run was that big of a problem yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I just think that they settled for too many field goals. And that's where Purdy and company couldn't get in another touchdown. When you play people like Mahomes, you got to score touchdowns, man. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. We love Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics. 786-618-1443. Celtics beat the Heat 110-106. Jay Rich got a shoulder injury. Butler out with personal injuries, a death in the family. Sad stuff. Bam had 22 points. Tuesday, they're in Milwaukee at 8 o'clock. Saturday, the best team in town, the Panthers, continue their roll. They walloped the Avalanche for nothing. Barkov with a goal and 2 assists. Bob had 35 saves. Wednesday, they're in Pittsburgh at 7:30. Number 20 FAU yesterday defeated Wichita State 95-82. They improved to 19-5, 9-2 in the American Conference. Thursday, they take on Temple at 7 o'clock. Number 3 UNC beat Miami 75-72. The Canes gave them a hell of a game, man. They go down to 15-9, 6-7 in the conference. Omier had 20 points, 11 rebounds. Nigel Pack had 20 points and 3 assists. Wednesday, they're at Clemson. And Saturday, NSU, Nova, defeated Embry-Riddle 99-81. They improved to 19-2. They've won 7 in a row. Saturday, they're at Palm Beach Atlantic University. All right. All right. Mike Dizzle, thank you for the love in the super chat, Mike. Big O, can you tell my wife, Nikki, good morning for me? We're big fans all the way from DC. Keep it up, brother. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Mike, for supporting us. Good morning, Nikki. I hope you have a fantastic day. Okay. So thank you both for supporting us out there in DC. That is awesome. Appreciate you big time. Let's see. Oh, let's see. He admits that disclaimer often at C's. What did Brett Dodger at C's? What is it? I don't know what you guys are talking about. If it has anything to do with me. Anyway, I don't know, man. Kittle left the game in the last 3 minutes. Yeah, but he came back.
It was you saying you're not a financial advisor. See,
yeah. I always say that. Yeah. Some guy on Twitter the other day was like, oh, so now you're telling people you're not a financial advisor? Bro, go look at all the posts. They all say that. I always do that because you have to do that, dude. You You got to do your own homework. It's your money. You invest and do whatever the hell you want. I can tell you what I'm doing. I can tell you I'm betting the Chiefs, and I'm betting on Polygon, and I'm betting on Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cosmos. And, I can tell you what I'm, investing in. You got to do whatever you think is right for yourself. Sloman's Home Shield. Now that's what you can do for yourself right there. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME, and we'll give you a free doorbell camera. The first 40 Big O listeners that call in right now, 1-800-ALARM-ME, and you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, we're going to also get you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Folks, call them 1-800-ALARM-ME. And in the winter months, it gets cold, and you need some heating oil. Well, Sloman's also has been providing heating oil for Americans for decades. They've been protecting Americans for 100 years. You can call them for heating oil also, and they have fixed rates, which that's how they're going to save you a lot of money. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. You know exactly what you spend every month in heating oil. Man, support the great people that support us at Sloman's Home Shield. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Find out now. All right. Let's see what else do we have here going on. Let's go with birthdays today. Abe Lincoln was born on this date in 1809. We lost him in 1865. Gucci Mane, rapper, is 44 years old. Bill Russell, the great one, born on this date in 34. We lost him in 2022. Charles Darwin, biologist, born in 1809, lost him in 1882. Christina Ricci, actress, is 44. Josh Brolin, movie actor, is 56 years old. Jennifer Stone, movie actress, is 31. Mike Posner, pop singer, 36 years old. John Michael Higgins, TV actor, is 61. Let's see who else. Robert Griffin III, football player, 34 years old today. Tony Ferguson, MMA fighter, is 40 years old today. And those are the folks celebrating birthdays today. All right, let's go with the little music history. Today in 1995 on this date, Van Halen scored their first #1 album when Balance topped the charts. In 2003 on this date, Bobby Weir, Mickey Hart, Phil Lesh, and the surviving members of Grateful Dead changed their name from The Other Ones to The Dead. In 77, the Ramones, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Blondie all performed at the LA's Whiskey A Go-Go. That's pretty awesome. In 2003, X-Doors drummer John Densmore sued his former bandsmate Ray Manzarek and Robbie Krieger for breach of contract, trademark infringement, and unfair competition after they reformed the band with Ian Astbury from the Cult and Stuart Copeland from the Police and called it The Doors. In 97, U2 held a press conference in the lingerie department at the Greenwich Village Kmart store in New York City to announce the Pop Mart World Tour. And that's what happened today in music history. All right, what do we have here? Big O went to the Super Bowl. I drive trucks for Kansas City Chiefs. Best job on earth. Get to watch a Super Bowl for free and had a blast. Good for you, Chris. That is awesome, man. That is fantastic. I wish I would have been there this year, but I needed my Dolphins to be there. So, unfortunately, but you, I'm sure you had some fun for me, my brother. Good for you. Yes, sir.
Did you see his comment even further down? It's his third Super Bowl ring. He drove for the Patriots before driving for the Chiefs.
That's awesome. Best part, Big O, this will be my third Super Bowl ring. I drove for the Patriots prior to driving for the Chiefs. There you go. That's awesome. Good for him, man. Good for him. That's so cool. What else? Let's see. By the way, Andy Reid credited a Raider for the Super Bowl win. It's kind of interesting because the Raiders, I think I saw Ice Cube's tweet this morning, F Kansas City and F San Francisco. I'm all about the Raiders or something like that, Raider Nation or something. And he's hardcore Raiders. There's no doubt about that. Anybody that knows Ice Cube, he's hardcore Raiders. But apparently the Kansas City ass kicking at the hands of the Raiders was the thing that put them over the top. Peter King put this in his article this morning. And it was Andy Reid, and he was reaching out to Raiders coach Antonio Pierce. And in reaching out, he says, I texted him. I just said, hey, beautiful facility, first of all. And I appreciate you kicking our tails because you taught us a lesson. You get complacent in this business. The margins between winning and losing is tiny. You better step up. There's a time and a place these players that have been here before, you know what it takes. If you're the veteran that's dropping the ball or you're the veteran getting the penalties, you better figure it out. Figure it out quick. This season's going to go down. So it's pretty cool that, he kind of attributed a lot of what's gone on to that moment when they got their asses kicked by the Raiders. And it was like the lowest point of the season. And obviously a divisional opponent, which it's not something that you really want to lose. If you're a Raiders, a Charger, Chiefs fan, you just don't want to lose to those. You never want to lose to your teams in your division. It's kind of the way it goes. So it's pretty cool that Andy Reid is honest enough to say, hey, that ass kicking is what gave us that extra life. It's pretty cool. I like that. I mean, what isn't there not to like about Andy Reid? Right? That's the thing about him. He is as likable as it gets. And it's funny because when he was in Philadelphia, boy, there were a lot of people that weren't Andy Reid fans because he couldn't get him over the top. And we have to sometimes, some people don't deserve a label that you give them just because, okay, things didn't work out in Philadelphia. Was it really all his fault or something? Or you just didn't have the right team, the right personnel, ball didn't bounce your way, whatever it is. Because a lot of people are like, Andy Reid's a choker. No, Andy Reid this, Andy Reid that. And I was always like, I'll take Andy Reid every day of the weekend, twice on Sundays. And I'm glad that this is turned around for him in that sense with Kansas City, because you always knew he was great, but he wasn't a champion. When he got to Kansas City, now he's a 3-time champion. Well-deserved, man, because Marv Levy is a great coach. And he's the guy that we don't talk enough about because he didn't win a Super Bowl. And again, it's just not fair. One of those he should have won. The kicker screwed it up. And when he got there, sometimes he was facing a team like, the Cowboys. That was a very special team in those days. I don't know, man. It's one of those deals where, we just jumped the gun a little too much on some people and give them a choking label or they're not good enough. And it's just not fair, man. Big O, the one thing nobody is saying is that Weaver does well and leaves next year, we would get a compensatory pick, minority coach compensation. Yes, and I hope not. I hope Weaver is here because he's here to help them win a Super Bowl. And I hope that McDaniel, improves his coaching and that Weaver is here to help out. I don't want to lose him after a year and then more transition. I'd like to have some continuity for a couple of years, just to see if you can build something. Can Victor and Victor Mesa lead the Marlins to the World Series? I don't even know if they're still on the team, to be quite honest. All right, folks, I told you it'd be short. I'm sorry, but I am not, the tank's not full today. We will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We'll be in studio, by the way, tomorrow morning in studio. Hopefully I'll get more rest and I'll give you a longer show and more things to talk about. I'm going to get some rest and I'm going to go watch Bitcoin go over 50,000. We thank Sean Stanley and of course David Furones. We'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.